This is Play X-Play again, and we're from Utrecht this time, not from Amsterdam. We're in Utrecht, we're in a very nice hotel, and we're here for the Challenger. That means a lot of international players are coming to the Netherlands, which gives us an opportunity to talk to them for Play X-Play. And today we're here with Kareem Maddox.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
How did you start playing basketball?
You know, you've tried different sports, you're playing in the street, you're playing, you know, American football or European football or soccer. And then, you know, just at some point picked up a basketball and started gravitating towards that. So I've, you know, played as long as I can remember.
I saw that you also played in Holland.
Yeah, I played in Zwolle.
In Zwolle?
Yeah.
Right, so you know a little Dutch, so we could do this interview in Dutch.
Yeah, no.
Not at all?
No, none. I did my best while I was here, but that was 10 years ago now.
Yeah, 2011, 12?
Yeah.
And you were with Damon Huffman on the same team?
Yeah, we played on the same team, exactly.
And you're still together?
Yeah, and we're still playing, yeah.
Did he also take you to the 3x3 game, or?
No, well, we got there the same way through like a mentor that we have named John Rogers. And so that's how we both started playing 3x3. And then even before that, with regards to Damon, he was a senior when I was a freshman in the Ivy League. So he played at Brown and I played at Princeton. So we played against each other since 2007.
And did you get to pick the name for Princeton, or was it
So that is actually because of that mentor I mentioned, John Rogers. He played basketball at Princeton. He just is one of the people who just started playing 3x3 like right when he got out of college. You know, he took it very seriously, so he just started bringing in younger guys from, you know, different basketball programs that know how to run the Princeton offense, because that's kind of like, you know, the foundation of our team is like we all know how to play together because we all have run that same system before.
Is it applicable to the 3x3 as well? Because it's from the 5 against 5, right?
Yeah. No, totally. It is. And it's, you know, it's predicated on things like backdoor cuts. It's all just reads and it becomes just habit, you know, after a while. So yeah, it's really helpful for 3-on-3.
And we're going to look at some plays. So we'll probably see the Princeton offense in action. And we'll start with something that maybe that's already the Princeton offense in action. Do you decide beforehand that you go inside, or does it happen while reading the offense and the defense? Yeah,
I think this one kind of just happens as I was reading the offense that we were running. You know, in the first clip, I just felt like I was getting overplayed. You know, I just felt like I had an advantage and just took him off the rim. So that was more of a read. And then in the next play, you know, this is definitely part of the Princeton offense where when someone dribbles at you, you have the choice to either cut back door or come around and get the ball. So I dribble that's Damon. You know, if I dribble at him, you know, 3 times in the game and he comes around and takes it. One time he cuts back door and I pass it to him, or I don't. What eventually happens is the guy who's guarding me starts to forget that he thinks that I'm just looking for the next thing, and he falls asleep, and then you can kind of do a little push through and get to the rim. Yeah,
because this is already some later on in the game, so you probably had some handoffs.
Yeah,
beforehand.
Exactly.
If you would describe yourself as a player, is this your strong suit, the inside game?
Yeah, I think I'm a good 3x3 player because I do a little bit of everything. You know, inside, there's lots of advantages to be had inside. I think if you have smaller guys on you. And outside, if there's someone bigger, you know, I can take them off the dribble and drive. You know, I can shoot it a little bit. You know, I'm definitely going to shoot an open shot. And, you know, I want to get fouled too and shoot free throws. So yeah, I think it's that versatility is really important in 3x3.
We're going to go to the next clip. Yeah, this is a very big game. I think this is in Amsterdam. This is the men's final against Latvia, which is right even now one of the biggest teams in 3x3. How did you prepare for this final? Was it your first finals game, or?
Yeah, this is my first time playing in the World Cup. You know, we didn't know what to expect, but we knew that we were going to go out there. We knew Latvia is very strong, and they had been doing well on the other side of the bracket. But you know, we thought that we had a really strong game plan. This team, this World Cup team, was all about defense. That's really all we cared about. And so if you look at the final scores of our games, you know,
they're low scoring games, right?
I think in 3x3, so many things can happen, like fatigue, people get tired. You know, it might be windy outside.
Right, yeah.
It's like there's all kind of things that can happen, and that can affect the way you play offensively. But defensively, you can always get a stop. Like, your principles are always your principles. So we knew that, like, all right, whatever happens offensively, all we have to do is score more points than the other team. So if we stop them from scoring points, then we're in good shape.
For me, this is a very important play in the finals because you're 3 points ahead, so anything is still possible. But you make sure you grab the ball 2 times, and also you make a decision not to shoot, even though you have the room and you have a 3-point shoot. So can you walk me through the progress of what your decision making is here?
You know, I really thought Robbie was going to make that.
It would have helped.
That's anyone's game at that point. A couple things could happen to end this game in our favor. One is Robbie makes that shot. Another is we get 1 rebound, and then we have enough time to pretty much run it down to like 4 or 5 seconds, and then we'd be good.
So this rebounding, is that something you can train, or is it more intuition of where to be on the court and feel how the ball goes?
Yeah. I think it's a little of both. You know, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever actually trained for rebounding. Now that I think about it, just sometimes used to try to rebound for like 2 teammates who are shooting at the same time. So, you know, try to make sure, because that also helps with passing too. Like, you know, have 2 and you have to pass with both hands.
Right,
and
yeah.
So yeah, I guess there are ways to train it, but I think a lot of it's, like, you know, positioning, timing your jumps well.
A little push here and there.
Yeah, a little push here and there. Also knowing, like, you know, sometimes being good at kind of tipping the ball, right? So like sometimes you can't quite get to it, but you know, if you tip it or throw, you know, you can bounce it off the backboard, you have a better chance at it.
So, and this is what I like about the 3x3 game, is that when we think about winning games, we think about scoring. But here, of course, you win because you scored more points. But here, in the end, the rebounding and also the reason that the decision not to shoot when you have an open 3-point shot with about 16 seconds.
Yeah.
That also wins games. That's something that people forget. They always talk about the buzzer beaters, but this is also how you win games.
Yeah, it's game management, really, and I think that's what getting more reps is good for.
When I try to explain 3x3, I say it's high pressure problem solving in the most athletic way possible. Can you train for that, or is that something that has to grow while playing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's something that you need to be in more situations for. There's ways to practice it, but I don't think that there's really any substitute for playing in, you know, 100 3-on-3 games. You know, you can see anything can happen in this game. So I think it's just a matter of playing in a lot of games.
Do you notice that the problem solving skills that you learned or initialized in 3x3, do they help in daily life? Like, for instance, driving a car, or when something falls down the table, or your cat pushes something down the table.
I think what it does is helps you have a short memory, you know?
Right.
You know, you can make a mistake in 3x3 and that mistake can get worse if you're thinking about it, you know? It can just snowball. So if you're able to, you know, quickly forget and move on to the next thing, then that's really helpful for 3x3, and it's a good thing for life too. You know, I think a lot of people like to live in the past and regret things that they can't change. And so that's probably the biggest crossover between 3-on-3 and life.
Well, that makes it a very stoic sport, right?
Yeah.
So it's not about only living in the moment, but also don't dwell on the mistakes in the past, because you have to.
For sure. I mean, you can. It'll make it worse. I guarantee that.
It's a close game, 19-17. Still a chance to get the game. Damon misses a shot, and then you get a foul, which puts him on the free throw line.
Yeah.
So you can ice the game. Of course, you're a bit mad.
Yeah. Do they have it from a different angle?
Yeah, because I saw in your reaction, you didn't totally agree with the referees.
Yeah.
Is this partly acting, partly clever body movement of the Novi Sad player, or?
No, I think it was a smart play from him. I mean, looking at it now, still, you can see I'm like trying to back away, and he like grabs my arm, and from the other angle, you see he jumps back into me. What is smart about what Ivasev did is he did something very drastic and fell down, so that he made the ref make a decision.
He had to call something.
He had to call something. I mean, you know, what he should have called is a travel. It's not a very good way to end a World Tour final game.
What do you take away from this? How do you cope with this kind of, well, I don't want to call it a mistake, but like a situation like this? How do you accept this?
You just kind of accept it. Like, we were like mad about it. You hate to see the game end that way. Not just for us, but like for the people watching. Like a game ends on free throws, on a bad call. At the end of the day, like I had to go back and go to work on Monday.
Right,
you know, like so. You just kind of move on and get ready for the next season. And yeah, and honestly, like Novi Sad they've won a lot. So
yeah, they're a great team. Yeah.
Yeah, and Serbia has played for so much longer than everyone else in 3x3 that maybe it makes sense that, you know, they've known Marco a lot longer than I have.
Right, yeah, true. So they have a relationship with him as well. This one is from, I think, a couple of weeks ago. You have all the space here to set up a play. And
Yeah.
what made you decide to do this one, to go back?
So yeah, so I knew that this handoff was going to be hard and we didn't have a lot of movement coming on the other side. But I basically knew that if I were to go back to the other side, then that would allow more movement between Robbie and Canyon. And that just creates confusion. More movement is better in 3x3 because it makes the defense do something. It makes them do something and make decisions. And so here, when I reversed it, I mean, I don't know if it was an actual screen or if it was just like an interchange, but like those guys had to navigate what they were doing with that switch. So they switched between Robbie and Canyon, the defenders, and then he has to figure out what Canyon's gonna do. And it was just like, he maybe called for like another switch and they were just a step behind. So basically I knew by reversing it and going the other way around that it would just create more confusion and just create more movement for the defense to guard.
And confusion is always a good thing. So when it comes to the other,
when the other team is confused.
So this, you know, I like this kind of small plays, small decisions that can, you know, change the offense because it's so easy to just go with the flow, do what your routine, right? And this is really thinking outside of the box in the moment.
Yeah, totally.
And it gives you a point. So. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the last one. This is Novi Sad against Princeton. Basically the same move as the beginning. It's one of your
push through.
Better moves, the push through. In it. Did you need another score at this point, or was it just?
I mean, mathematically, there's 2 possessions left. Like whatever we do with ours, and they have 1 possession. So we had to at least shoot it, and if we make it, then the game's out of reach for sure. But even so, we just want to get a good shot here because the rebound will be long and it'll be less, you know, predictable for them. They'll have to like, you know, take it out of the net and try to get some kind of play going.
You're monitoring the floor here. You're watching both sides to see what the options are.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, when I dribble at Damon, I know he's going to do one of 2 things, right? And he's going to read it well because he's been in the Princeton offense,
and you know each other
even
since
in college.
Yeah.
Even if I could dribble at his defender, which is what you're supposed to do. If I had given it to him, he probably had an open shot because he makes a good little move there. He pretends like he's going back door and he's coming around. But the thing about it is his defender's a step slow because he made a good, you know, kind of chop step. And so Dusan, who's guarding me, he also saw that the defender's a step, so he's getting ready to jump out. I knew that at this point, this is just a foot race, right? And I have the advantage because I'm already going downhill. I remember I just, you know, I kind of threw the dribble out, and that's what we learn, you know, at Princeton a lot of the times. Sometimes, you know, if you have a gap, you just throw the ball and you go chase it, and it's just a foot race. It's just whoever gets there first. And again, like there's 12 seconds left in the game. Everyone at that point is really tired and prone to make mistakes, like
mental lapses. And then the experience plays a part. Knowing what to do and knowing what Damon can do, what your options are. Instead of with a rebound, you decided with a nice push action inside. Well, we analyzed some of your highlights. What's next in store for you besides the Challenger?
The Challenger today. You know, this year I've decided to just kind of only focus on this year. Only focus on the tournaments that are right in front of you, and not think too much about you know, what happens next year, because, you know, things change, teams change. After everything that's happened, you know, this year, I just say, you know, it's great to be back in the Netherlands. It's great to play a tournament in a great venue and see some of these guys like Jesper and Bas, and who've been playing for a long time and are now, you know, retired and are moving to the, you know, logistics side of things.
Right, and so, promoting the sports and getting young people to play the sport.
It's great to see, so.
Is that a role for you as well in the US?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are always thinking about ways that we can grow it there, and yeah, I mean, it's totally, you know, a role I think I would like to play. You know, I played for the U.S. a lot, and you know, I love playing for Team Princeton, and I think there's only growth. We can only go up from here. So, you know, and there's not many of us that do it. So if we don't do it, then
who? So well, thank you for your time and for your knowledge and sharing your stories and your experience. I think the promoting the sport has already started, and this is one very fine example of it. So thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Right, great. And I hope you enjoyed this as well, and I hope you learned things for life skills, things for 3x3 basketball, and I hope to see you next time.